in an increasingly competitive tech market. How strong is Apple's influence? Earlier, we asked tech expert Dan Sodergren why the American tech giants had such a grip on our lives for so long. But he started by telling us a bit about the new smartwatch launched today.
Well, I'm amazed, actually. I'm not an Apple fanboy myself, but the way they've done this, I mean, Apple does, I mean, no one does it better than Apple, to be fair. They suck us in with these glamour lights and all the rest of it, and they do an amazing job of showing their products. And what they've shown us is the way forward, especially around their new Apple Watch and even the Apple Watch Ultra, as well as the other products, of course, they will be bringing out over the next few months. But no one does it better than Apple when it comes to showbiz and glitz and glamour. They do an amazing job.
What did they show us then about the new watch? Tell us about it.
Well, the new watch itself has so many new things. I have the joy of being a futurist, and I kind of thought in my wildest dreams these things wouldn't exist for another 5 or so years. But it's all tapping into health and into being able to do things that health technicians can now do, but now your watch can do them for you. One of the key ones that I've got to take home is they mastered it around period tracking and ovulation. So they've just disrupted that whole market in one fell swoop. They've also done it around checking about your heart rate and sleeping and all these other things that you normally had to have several devices for, and they have to have huge amounts of permission to do this in America. But they've seemed to be able to kind of squish it all into one watch, which is it's breathtaking, actually.
So they've taken a lot of other people's technology and put it onto just crammed it all onto their own device, or is that too simplistic?
I think that might be too simplistic, but what it definitely is they've taken the concepts, which Apple is so great at doing, and then worked with them behind the scenes with really clever stuff, and then squished it all together into one gloriously looking device, like the Apple Watch Ultra, which they've apparently made for the more rugged amongst us and people doing scuba diving and all these other things.
And the humble phone, of course, is still a huge feature. What can we expect there? Because there seems to be only so much that they can do in terms of evolving the iPhone.
Yeah. Well, no, exactly. This is the thing with all phone. Smartphone sales have started to decline. Because so many people have got them. So that's one of the reasons. And also, with the cost of living crisis and other things happening, are you going to spend £800 on a new phone, even if it has like 8K resolution? I mean, do you really need 8K resolution in your phone? I don't, because you'd then be able to see all my lines on my face because I'm so old. But obviously, younger people might want to have that kind of definition. Apple are they're worth something like $3 trillion, which, if you put it into real terms, the UK's GDPR is less than that, or not GDPR, but the GDP is less than that. So Apple are doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying for years, possibly decades now, they can't keep up this level of dominance forever. Somebody else will come into the market. That's just the way it works. But I mean, it feels like they've been kind of sucking us all in and getting us used to these products, getting us kind of hooked on these products for a long time. How long can they hold on to that dominance for?
Well, it won't be forever. We've got to remember, in the global world, Apple are not the global leaders. Samsung's actually, and Android do many more phones and smartphones than Apple does. When it comes to those smart watches, however, they are the market leader. And then when you start looking at other things they've been so clever at, they seem to be able to suck us in and make us do different things each time. Now, one of my favourite ones now is where they're positioning themselves as a market leader around privacy, and they're kind of creating these walls and saying, this is where we're not going to let this app come in or that company come in, and of course they'll control your data. And that's been a real big one for this launch, is about privacy and data. We've got to remember, though, that they also now have an advertising business themselves, digital marketing advertising business themselves, which is worth $35 billion. And that didn't exist a couple of years ago. So, they're very, very clever at positioning themselves as the saviours of everybody, at the same time making a tremendous amount of money.
Yeah, we've been talking at the top of this programme about the kind of life-saving cuts that the governments here have got to make to their own budgets. When you put Apple's turnover and profits into figures like that, it gives you some perspective, doesn't it? All right, Dan Sodergren, thank you very much indeed for your time this evening. Yeah, other brands are available. We fall for it every time. They put a launch on and we give them about 5 minutes of free advertising. But everybody wants to know, don't they?
Yep.